Yes. Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. Meeting to adjourn at 5:33 p.m. Roll call. Guillermo Castro,
Absent.
Sergio Sanchez,
Here.
Juan Avila,
Present.
Rosie Centeno,
Present.
Richard Geisler, Mike Hazen,
Absent.
Luis Gomez, perdón,
I'm here.
Judd Somerville,
Absent.
Yesenia Escobedo.
Absent.
Thank you.
Do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do. We do have a quorum.
Thank you.
Will we have a quorum if I retire?
I'm sorry?
Will we have a quorum if I have to?
We will not have a quorum if you would step out right now. So let's try to see how much we can run down to. Give me a knock and we'll try to speed up as much as possible. That way we can try to fulfill the whole meeting as it is. At this time, can we just stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I guess our flag is facing this way. Mr. Sanchez, would you give us the honor, please?
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you please remain standing, Mr. Gomez.
Take a moment of silence as you're choosing. Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. For the record, Mr. Castro just walked in with the bread. ¿Trajo chocolate, sir?
We need a coffee or some water.
No water, please.
Qué bárbaro. Me estoy robando
Well,
el cés.
retire now, Mr. Castro.
Yes.
Mr. Castro, thank you for coming. I will going to have to retire from this meeting, but the quorum can continue with you present now, so.
Thank you very much,
Sir.
Mr. Gomez.
Certainly. You
Thank you,
know,
Mr.
I
Gomez. We
sign
really
in,
appreciate it.
make sure everybody signs in to make sure that we have a full quorum for Mr. Castro as well. so.
Thank you, sir.
Very well. I apologize.
No, no.
Be here for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
very much, Mr. Gomez.
Good evening. Thank you.
Okay, has everybody had a chance, continuing on, has everybody had a chance to go over the minutes?
So even though I didn't have the authority to vote last time or do much,
Yes, ma'am.
I did read the minutes. I feel they're fine. I would like to move.
Okay, there's a
That we
motion.
accept the minutes as presented to us.
There's a motion for approval of minutes from August 13, 2019 to September 10, 2019. Do we hear a motion? Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Castro.
Excuse me? Sure.
With all saying, with any discussion? Okay, motion to approve. So ordered. Motion is granted. Sorry. Okay, do we have anybody under public comments, Miss? Who's gonna do it, Mr. Z? You are, or no public comments? Okay, we go to the next one real quick. Member district reports and communication. On this one, we were gonna discuss, if I'm correct, on the social media, we were gonna bring it up to the city council, is that correct, Miss? I keep saying Mr. Garcia. Last name, I'm sorry.
Aguilar.
Aguilar. Ms. Aguilar, are we gonna get something together? Are we gonna work on it together? Or how do we plan on presenting it if we do wanna take it over to city council on probably, hopefully, or if any comments from,
Our understanding is that would be something that whether the chairman or the PAC committee will be taken to council. Or address your specific council members, if I recall correctly, that you will approach your specific council members with the intent to either place an item or have those conversations for the funding of an additional FD for the metro.
okay, how would the board wish to move on that? Would you like to talk to your individual councilman, or would you like for us to go ahead and just,
I sincerely think, Mr. Alva, it's my personal opinion,
yes, ma'am.
that each one of us speaks to our own councilman.
Okay,
I think that would have a little bit more
Have an impact?
impact than coming as a whole in a meeting. Sometimes they have so many things in their minds in the meetings that they don't pay the attention that they're supposed to pay attention to. And I think that if we speak to them individually, I think it makes a more impact on them. That's the way I feel. I don't know what all the other members would feel.
Mr. Sanchez?
I briefly introduced the idea to, he's not my representative, but I know him very well, Vidal, because I couldn't get a hold of mine, which is
Okay.
Rudy. But Vidal said, I told him, and I said, real quick, real brief, can we do a video or something of what is allowed? And he said, look, as long as everything is okay with legal, which we already had the previous meeting, I kind of have a basic understanding of what's allowed and what's not. And he said, anything that improves the quality of the services, I'm all for it.
I
So,
also spoke to Mr. Torres, which is my representative,
Correct.
and he did listen to me, and he said, Rosie, I listened to you because I know what you're speaking about. And
Okay.
you've always been you have had a very big input on all this. And I know you want the best service for that department because you personally use that department. And I want to say, I do want to thank Ms. Esparza, Mr. Real, Ms. Aguilar, and all the people that are giving me the service. It's been tremendous, Mr. Avila. I am very, very satisfied with their service. They've helped me a lot. That I'm being able to get to work on time. I know at first it was difficult, and she did it in the spur of the moment. She helped me a lot. I'm referring to Mrs. Pasa. And really, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. They've done a good job for me. So I do want to thank you all, okay? Thank you, Mr. Reddick. And I want to thank Mr. Avila and the PAC for helping me stay in the board. I'm very, very satisfied with the turnout. When the legal department called me and explained to me, and I said, fine, as long as I'm there, because I do want to make a difference for our community.
That's correct. And that's everybody's role, from administration to us.
I agree.
That's the whole
I
role.
agree.
Mr. Castro?
Well, I believe that, not to be too blunt about it, I'm very dissatisfied with the council that we have and the mayor itself. I don't know how long I'll be here after I've been outspoken. Staff has failed us in other issues. I think we need to come as a board and address it to them in public. The reason why is that they all have a different agenda, and the agenda that we represent are the ridership. And if they see us at work, maybe that might be the turning point. These people need the support, and sometimes you tell them and it just goes one way or the other. They all have different agendas, we all have different agendas. But I think if we meet them there as a board and we tell them about the problems, they got problems all over the city. And they have to address the needs of the people. They had some good ideas about bringing that Facebook into the buses where kids will know and address that to encourage more ridership. But the idea as a board, it might bring unity if we all go together and face the music. That's why we were put there. And it's not to create the incident or create the friction, but the time for us to act is now. The time for us to address them is to address them today. This thing about I'm sorry, I'm going back to the water, I'm going about the zoning in the school, where the hell is it gonna stop? Maybe I'm biased about it, but it's truth. Sorry, ain't gonna cut it no more. It's time that we put it and say, this is what we're gonna move Laredo forward. How do we help you by increasing ridership? What do we have to do? Do a film and teach the people. Let's get the young people to ride the bus again, They're not riding it because we're not in the modern tech, By doing this, we might be able to, There's good resources out there that, me and you probably don't know about this stuff here because we're the old way. Give me a phone or give me a schedule and we'll do it. But
Exactly.
we got a lot of people now that we need to reach out to them. And the only way we're gonna do that is putting council in the face. Not as, hey, we need to do, no, tell me I'm gonna get to it. But you get it there, and that's happened.
And I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, addressing myself to our GM from Transit. I guess you were stating by contacting everybody, our own council member, I guess you were trying to see if we could get them a heads up so they could be ready by the time we go forward before them, which is a great idea. I like the idea, so they will be cut off guard. And I know right now, and you might think that I'm in favor of what they're doing, but right now with all this water situation, they really don't, their heads are up.
Yeah.
They're loading up. The water's up to their head and they're trying to swim out of it, so it's, right now, I don't think it would be in the proper, most likely way to go to them. So I was hoping, and I'm sorry, let me stop at that. I need to hear from Mr. Geisler. Mr. Geisler, what do you think? And I'm sorry, I'll stop at that.
Well, I think public transportation, we have to move that way, but it's difficult. I see, it takes money. It's the same thing with the border problem. It takes money. There's so many bus stops without shade, but it takes money. And some way of increasing revenues, I was reading in San Antonio, VIA, and the county kicks in to VIA in the city.
Yeah.
Does the county kick in here?
No, the county's got its own
Its own
transport transportation.
Exactly.
Well, which is
El Águila.
one bus route. Two bus routes.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Call for a
And
question.
so,
And I'm sorry, Mr. Geisler. How many, before they amend the budget, how long do we have so they can do an amendment?
How long?
Yeah, because budget just started October.
Basically, there is no.
There's no deadline?
You can request for additional funding for any particular need, whether operations, funding, fuel, today or the last day, or the last city council meeting, we can.
Because the county does have a deadline, it's in April, when you can go and ask for something.
Correct. I knew somebody had a deadline
The
for
county
it.
does.
For an amendment, but in this case, if you're gonna request a new additional position, which is what you all discussed in the last meeting, it will
Okay.
be,
It's open all.
It's open?
it's open.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Geisler. I just wanted to make sure that there was no deadline. I'm sorry.
so I know that the councilman that appointed me is into public transportation. So wherever I think we present to him, he's gonna go for it. But it's also the reality. These buses are 50, 60, 120,000. I mean, it's, now if the fairy godmother came and put 20 mil down, we'd be all right. But that's the same thing, again, with the water system. I think what you were saying, it's true, they were inundated. But let's not forget this, these geniuses privatized the water and handed it to the Frenchies.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Frenchies left and they took all the tools and all the vehicles with them.
That's right.
In the neighborhood I live, they're still bringing out lead pipes. So we have an antiquated infrastructure. And we have an antiquated public transit in the sense of, I know if we had shade, if they had the people would use it, but it's just, and I know y'all, it's yeoman's work, I mean, trying to stretch a dollar. And it's crazy.
Yeah. And then also the way the terminal is right now, it's in the wrong location. Needs to be in central Laredo so you can run better routes and more consistent to that. I hate to say it, downtown is dead. We're not servicing the mass public. It's not really mass transportation. You're servicing only a certain group of people that are going to be using that bus because it's in the wrong side of town. It's got to be located so when they make the master plan somewhere in Jackson Road or somewhere in that area where all the transportation needs are have to be. You're close to the hospitals, you're close to the airport, you're close to the college, you know. We need to cater to the young people that need to go to college, have those runs, you know. You all did something good by getting into the Mines Road, and those areas don't have anything, you know. There's from Killam, that's it. You got Green Ranch and you got further, and I agree with you. The county needs to step in and also support the public transit, because you're supporting only two routes. When we service, our city limits are growing and growing. And really, if you look at it years ago, they talked about having one form of government because it overlaps. You got county and city and we're double paying taxes. And who are we serving? The same people. something has to be done at the state level to where we have one form of government, and that's it, you save on salaries. But the problem here is that, who's gonna give into that? And it's us, the people, that need to motivate that. That's only gonna happen. You save money, but you get better support.
We need to get one form of government, but
I
that's
would
going
like-
to be the problem.
I would like to propose for us to have like a special call meeting and everybody bring in an idea, as we had stated before, our goals, but to have an idea of how we would like to present this to council. After you can go ahead, I mean, we'd be more than glad to recommend that, you talk to your councilman who appointed you, but let's work it together as a PAC team and everybody bring their idea. And I would like to propose the 23rd of this month, prior to the Thanksgiving meeting per se in November. Hopefully we'll get lucky and we'll get blessed and we'll have it approved. But, each and every individual board member bring an idea. Let's get together on that day. And if we do get together on day, I guess, if we go a little bit long, I guess I'll provide dinner. I don't mind. But I want to make it to where we can show the impact towards the council that we are working together with administration and staff to where we won't get slapped in the face and say, well, come back later and we'll talk about it. I mean, we want to get it heard and get our point through and get it approved.
We need to realize that these ladies and this gentleman here, the staff it's a little staff, and we can't just leave the whole burden on them. I mean,
That's
that's
what I
why
said.
we're here, and you're right. We all need to get together and we all need to make an impact on the councilman, on the council people itself, to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Or what they have to do, really. Is that what they're gonna do, what they do have to do? And I feel that Mr. Castro has a very good idea, but I also feel that Mr. Castro, I've done a lot of things to try and get the young people to do what they're supposed to do,
Right.
and it's been very unfortunate. They don't want to do it. They just don't, I don't know.
Well, statistically, before when you were 16, you got your license.
Yeah, you had your
I
car.
mean, you were trying for the special license to get it at 15.
Right.
Now, they don't get their license.
They have to be in the driving school now. The driving school
No,
is
but
very expensive.
The point is, they're not car crazy.
Right, right.
And so they will fall into the public system if it's available.
If you make it appealing to them and use the
And
smart
frequency.
yeah.
Know that you can go out, wait 5-10 minutes, you can get on a bus, get the transfer and get home.
This weekend, I think Texas A&M University has some type of a shindig, and there's a lot of kids that want to go there. Have we done anything to promote it by joining them and saying, hey, we got a special bus that will help these kids, to go into those areas, when there's a promotional, like, it's supposed to be a Saturday,
The
shuttle
shuttle bus.
Yeah, and I think those are the things that we need to embrace and say,
Promote.
we have vehicles, that buses that will run there, and that way the kids will, I'm gonna drive, or they, how am I gonna get there? And you run them late at night or whatever, It's the same thing with the Washington birthday, the Jalapeno Festival. I know that we run shuttle buses into the area, but it's all in that same area. It's not downtown. You see, this is something that we need to promote, is a new facility to bring in Laredo into the modern technology of moving it downtown. And then that building, they can always make it into a parking lot, I don't know. But the idea is to have a new facility to move Laredo forward. You'll save money by running a shorter distance instead of going downtown. You bring it there. I know you're gonna get the political wrath of the Franks and people saying, oh, no, we need to promote Laredo downtown. No, we need to promote Laredo generally. What is in the best interest of our city, not a special group. We have to do that. And let's start by here.
Well, just like San Antonio does it, Mr. Castro,
Mhm.
they have little, in different areas of
Yes.
town, they
Yeah.
have their little metro or their little bus or their little via.
Yeah.
They have their hubs, and I think that that's something good for our city now, that it's grown so much.
It's grown so
And
much,
it's still
yeah.
growing by meets and bounds,
Exactly.
So that would be a good idea, because I know that the buses come all the way from South Laredo,
Mhm.
all the way to downtown. It's a long distance.
create
And
more
it-
fuel, you'll
You know, they
save
come
more
all the way
fuel.
from the Mines Road,
Right?
all the way to downtown. It's a long distance. They come all the way from north Laredo. I mean, it's a long distance, you know, and that's the only place that we have, you know, quote unquote. So I feel that if we do something like Mr. Castro is suggesting, it might be good for us, but we know we need the monies and we need the resources. We need the properties, that's another thing. You know, but I know the city has a lot of properties that are vacant, that they're just lots there, you know. They have to go clean them every month or twice a month. That takes manpower, you know. And instead of having just a vacant lot, I mean, they could have something to do with transportation, with public transportation.
I think in the master plan, they had designated somewhere in Jackman Road, the public transit, building there. At one point, their master plan called for moving it, but nobody wants to tackle the political significance of doing that. It's not like you're abandoning downtown. You're better servicing it by going to, we could have a substation to meet at that location than move it around.
And I would venture, I'm not sure, but I'd venture to say that at least half the ridership is folks from across.
Yeah.
So you need the downtown. I mean, it's part of.
I'm not saying close it completely, but you could have like a substation that moves it.
Yes, I feel that if they do that, it'd be more,
Ah,
it'd be a better situation for the whole city and the county itself.
exactly.
And maybe that way, Mr. Castro, the county will try to negotiate something with the city that they can help somewhere or somehow.
Right.
Because it's not only helping the city, it will also help the
The
county.
county, yeah.
Yeah.
Mobility, that's
Yeah.
what it's all about.
Because like, for example, La Vila. La Vila doesn't go all the way to El Primero.
No.
I have a lot of family out there. If they don't have a car, they can't move to the city. You know, they need to come over here for groceries, to pay their utilities, and they have to come all the way into the city of Laredo because there's no other way to pay them.
Exactly.
Specific district in Utah. We can add it, and we can discuss it when following the agenda. And we will start following. Yeah, that way we can close this one out, and then we can, mention what district specific, and I can this one and this one just looking at. Okay.
Si tienen hambre, pasen el pan, it's pretty
Uh,
good.
Thank you. So what are the wishes of the board at this time? So, I mean, I understand, you know, I know you texted me, you have another commitment here prior, so and I don't want to sound rude, please, don't, by all means. What are the wishes of the board at this time for us to either bring it back on a special call meeting, or what would be the wishes of the board? But I would like, again, I repeat myself, I would like for every single board member to bring an idea to the table if we do a special call meeting, so we could have this together, working along with administration and
Well,
stuff.
we need to make a motion. I would like to make a motion to have a special call meeting and to do it, you know, take it to the city,
Okay.
to the city councils, and bring it up like we said, and see what develops out of that. Each one of us bring something into the table.
Correct.
Let them know what we're up to, and see what they do, or see what they tell us to
Do we have a specific date that we would like to make that special
What
call
day did you
meeting?
give us, the 23rd?
I said the 23rd, but I'm
Is that,
hoping,
what day is that?
A Wednesday.
I believe it's a Wednesday, but I'm hoping that staff would, you know, if they have their agendas with them, they would not be that busy, or at least like Sandy and Miss Sandy and Miss
San Miguel? Miss Aguilar.
Miss Aguilar would be
Yeah,
here, because I know that
I
this.
recommend you all set like a concrete date that we won't have.
Yeah, that way we
just
have to be
a set
safe,
date
just-
and we're ready.
And also, just for the record, remember, a special call meeting does not count as an absent if you happen to be absent, because it is a special call meeting. So if you're absent, you're absent. If you're here, you're here.
I don't have no objections on the
Me
date,
either.
the
Okay,
23rd.
just for the record, and just to be clear on that.
23rd is.
Wednesday,
On a Wednesday.
October.
No
October.
juegan los Cowboys, ¿verdad? Yes, 5:30, at 5:30 would
Would
be.
you need a motion to that effect?
Need a second.
I need a second.
Okay, I move.
Mr.
Castro.
Castro? All is in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We'll go ahead and jump over to staff reports and communication. Ms. Esparza?
Yes. Mr. Avila, you can see, and
that our ridership did go up for the month of September, and it has been increasing during the past 3 months. For September, we had a total of 4,080 passengers compared to last year, 3,635. It has been, our ridership has been increasing.
Awesome. And that's due to the fact that we're back on school, we're back on college, we're back on,
Well, even for the month of,
even August, I see
during
that the numbers
summer,
were up.
yeah,
You went up.
yes, so that's a plus.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Yes, it is.
For the cancellations report, we had a total of 560 cancellations for the month of September, and this 670 is not correct. We had a total of 120 no-shows. We had 31 passengers that canceled through the IVR system.
Correct.
Our end of the month registered customers, we had a total of new registered clients. We had 12. We had 12 renewals, and we had a total of 24 for the months of September. So right now we have 895 registered customers. For the mobility report, we had a total trips for the wheelchair customers. We had 60, and right now we have 191 customers that utilize a wheelchair.
I would imagine, and just a quick comment, I would imagine having 191 passengers on wheelchair, that the numbers would be a lot higher on the wheelchair access ridership. Having that we have 191, I would say that at least 100, 150 would ride on it, you know. That's just me thinking out loud, since they're on a wheelchair, to get, you know, from point A to point Z, but then again, I don't know, you know.
What I've been seeing a lot, Ms. Raza, just to interject on what you're saying,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
not only the people on wheelchair. We're riding a lot of people with eyesight problems and real bad eyesight problems. They hardly can see. If I have problems, those people cannot see. Because I tell you, because I've been riding with them and I can see it. And those are the people that are going to dialysis, most of them. They hardly can see. And they're riding, you know, they don't use a wheelchair yet,
Yeah.
but I know that pretty soon they're
They're
gonna come
close
down
to
to a wheelchair. It's gonna
Exactly.
come down to that.
Okay, then we have the end of the month.
You agree with me, Mr. Casares?
Yes, that was the end of the
Yes.
month.
And then the next one would be the revenue report. I believe Gustavo will go over the revenue report.
Thank you.
I pretty much attached the same report that you guys always get.
Yeah.
But then in the back, everything you see that was attached to it, that was actually the summaries provided for our budget workshop. So
The breakdown,
we
right?
can spend hours looking at it, or whenever you all take a look, you can just read through
It'll
it. This is
even
put
up to the-
It'll show you our expenditures, our revenues for the transit center building, the operations building. I guess one of the most important numbers, since I know it was always a question like, well, how much money do we have left, or how does a lift operate? On one of the pages, it shows our performance measures. So right here, it will state our revenue proposed for this year is $62,750. One of those pages, just look for the one that states 5812.
658,
5812. At the top it says,
this corner, at the corner.
I think it's probably in the back of it. Yes, 5812. It's one of the performance measure sheets.
It's second to the last,
Second to last,
on the back.
page 654, it says at the bottom.
654.
So that one gives you pretty much a whole breakdown of our 5812, which is our paratransit. So in money-wise, usually paratransit is always operating in negative. So that's where we need a lot of help, I guess, for funding for vans, ridership. And this is pretty much, this is what city council sees, this is what city management sees, this is where they make their budget decisions. So you can see on the proposed for like this new fiscal year that just started, we're proposing making $62,750 in revenues. Right there. But our expenditures is actually $1,672,000. So simple math, we're about $1 million short.
When are we gonna be getting the new vans, Mr. Reza, do you know?
There is an item on that, I think,
Yes, it's item 8, I saw it already.
yes, so
Once we get there.
yes. But, pretty much you guys can take a look at it and it's self-explanatory. How much mileage-
It'll even out.
Yes, how much revenue we're bringing in, how much we're spending. And this is as transparent as you can get. Yes.
Any questions?
Okay, the next report is the maintenance report, Mr. Avila. For the month of September, we had a total of 27,117 miles traveled for the lift vans. All of the PMs were done on time, 100%, for the month of September and the months prior to that. The road calls, we had a total of 1 road call during the month of September. And the miles between road calls for a lift, we did not have any. Mr. Jackson also included the information for the fixed route buses, and the miles traveled for the month of September was 152,595, and also the PMs were 100% for the month of September.
It was pretty good.
Any questions or comments? I do have a comment, but any questions? Any questions on the board?
No.
Okay, just a quick comment on observations on their maintenance. I know that we say we, but I know that y'all spend a lot of money on trying to keep up the vans going at its pace. We have a lot of mobility, but I do happen to see that every single van is fully capacitated with AC on it. But if I see one of your drivers with the windows rolled down, it's forcing the AC to keep that van at a cool luxury per se ride for the customer, because all the air is going down on the road, it's coming in. I think I have brought up this before, Ms. San Miguel. Is there anything that you can address that to the driver, that the windows, it is AC, it is comfortable for the customers? Maybe if the AC is too cold, maybe they can adjust it, but opening the windows, it's not in the best interest, because you're forcing the AC to, la compresora to work at a faster pace.
May I help you with that?
Go ahead, Mr. Tano.
Because when they turn off the air, because the client, it's very cold or something, they turn off the air, and that's when they roll the windows. They don't roll the windows and have the air conditioner on, because I can attest to that. That's what's happened to me in the vans when I come or I go. If they have the air conditioner on, Mr. Avila, I can tell you, majority of those drivers don't have the air conditioner on, if they have the windows down. Okay? Because it's never happened to me.
The only thing that I'm concerned is that, let's say Mrs. Parza is cold, but Ms. San Miguel feel that it's hot. So we're to please who?
The customer, and I
Exactly.
understand
But we're
where you're
supposed to
coming
have
from.
the AC on, not off, because of the fact that Mrs. Parza knows that every time she gets on the van, it's going to be cold, so se va a llevar un suétercito, se va a llevar una
I
colchita.
understand.
But Ms. San Miguel, on the contrary, she's like me. It's like, chinga, I sweat like easily. Like right now, it's hot for me here.
Well, maybe that's why you're complaining on that.
No, I just don't want to see it. I just don't get. I don't think it's in the best interest to have the windows
But
down.
I can tell you, if they have the windows down, sir, their air conditioner is out. I mean, it's off.
You got attest to that.
Yes, sir, I can attest to that.
All right. I'll take your word from Ms. Centeno.
You know me, Mr. I don't be saying.
I just brought it up as a point of interest, because I know that, the compressors,
I know what you mean, I know.
the compressors
exactly.
go on, and, hay unas que están
It
viejitas
happens
y...
with our cars too. and I
Exactly.
know.
Ya está viejito,
I
mira.
realize that.
¿Por qué crees que traigo el parche? Ya estoy viejito, me caí, pues ya necesito otro brazo. So, we gotta watch what we have. Bueno, continue on, Ms. Parza.
Okay,
I believe it says update for the new lift vehicles.
oh yes, the update for the new electric vehicles. Let me just get that information. Where is it? Mr. Avila, there is already a purchase order for three new vans. We don't know the date of arrival yet, but the specs are attached to the packet for the 3 new vans.
We get them fast because our old vans are really sacrificing a lot.
Yes.
That I also can tell you, Mr. Avila. The old vans are really
They
pushing.
have been ordered already, Mr. Avila.
Okay.
They're pushing a lot, and I know.
So that's great news, Mr. Geisler, for the lift department and for our passengers as well.
That sure is.
Yes.
That we'll be able to replace three vans.
But I would just like, I'm sorry, I would just like for y'all to make a big issue on this, because this is not something that, nos están regalando. This is something that you, San Miguel, and your staff have, it takes a lot of hours to put in there to get something like this done. It takes hours, it takes a lot of pencil, a lot of, brains, and I would like for y'all to really, really make a big impact on this and show the community where the work is being done. Because, and I'll say it, sometimes you might think I'm grouchy, but believe me, I look at every single aspect. We need to show where it really means what you're doing. And this is one of the issues right here. I'll give y'all credit for that. This is what y'all need to really put on a tie and show this is what we're doing. This is what we work for y'all. This is why. So I would really ask for y'all to make a big issue on this one.
I'll make a big issue if the vans are not like the new ones we have right now.
Okay.
Their stairs are extremely high, Mr. Avila. That's the only complaint I have with the new vans that we have.
I did hear a complaint, and since you brought it up, since you brought the complaint up, I was gonna keep quiet because I wanted to go on one-on-one and ask on it, but is it true, and I guess Rosa, you would be more on this, is it true that the new vans, the ones that are newer, the AC, it just de repente nomás se corta?
There was something going on with the ACs. The front AC, if I'm not mistaken, is at Ford, and the rear is the Andes.
Okay,
Yeah, they already found whatever it was.
because one of the vans,
They found the glitch,
okay,
so they're slowly fixing all the vans because they all have the same glitch.
okay, because I understand one of the vans went to Andes and it came back and it was the same.
They finally found the problem with it.
Okay, and then we had a van that all of a sudden it was riding, de repente nomás se abría el lift, se caía. And
But they were the old vans.
they stopped it, and they had to shut it down, and then they said, no, go ahead and use it like that, because there's no other ones, and then they shut it down again.
I didn't hear.
They will not
anything
use
on
it
that.
again. They know the procedure. When a lift is not working, they
It doesn't
immediately
go out.
remove it out of service.
And, this is just, I'm bringing it to y'all, so y'all, open up and look into it, all right?
I'll look into it, but I hadn't heard anything, not on the lift, on the ACs, yes. but
No,
not
see,
on the lift.
the Lacey sí dijeron no nuevo.
But then on the new vans, please check that they're not as high, Ms. Soto, because these ones are very high. They're high for me that I can see a little bit, but those people that can't see, we can really have a major accident because they're very high. The steps are
The
very high.
steps are high.
Are very high.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the step,
The steps, not
I
No,
the
guess-
that's it,
just the
no.
steps.
The steps, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So what are the-
As you go down on the first one, not in the door, the one that before you get to the driver, that's super high, and then when you get to the ones in the door,
Yes.
and then the very bottom, they've got 3, because the old ones have 4 steps in the door, the new ones have 3. When you get to the bottom one and you're gonna go to the street,
Okay.
they're super high.
And I believe the next one, if there's no any other comments, the next one is a lift door hangers, no show policy. Which is, I guess it's this one here.
Yes. Our drivers will have these inside their vans, and they will be using them for whenever there's a customer that we're trying to get a hold of them and we are unable to, and just to notify them that we did go to the premises and we did arrive at the scheduled time. They'll be able to put all the information on there, and this will help us with our customer service. And if a customer calls us back and advises us that, that we didn't show up or something, this will help us, and we'll let them know that we did arrive at their at the premises.
Now, I know that we used to do it, that if we give the manifest and that guy had, van one per se, had 18 pickups, we would give him 18 of these. And he would bring back the ones that were not used, and the one, if he did leave one, for whatever customer, let's say Ms. San Miguel was a no-show, they let the driver the driver would leave a door hanger in Ms. San Miguel's house, and the copy bring it back in the afternoon with his manifest, and we would staple it to the manifest to have it on record. For in
Now we
case,
utilize tablets, so they have these in the vans, they have this in an envelope,
okay,
and they're gonna have these inside the vans. They've been issued to every van. So they have their tablets, and on their tablets, that's where they have their manifest. And so they do still carry a daily revenue report, and that's where they mark down how many passengers they had per day. So they'll be attaching whatever if they do issue out a door hanger, they'll be able to attach it to that paper.
that meant,
Yes,
okay.
So it can
Okay.
match.
yes.
So they can match with what they are, in
And
case,
on the tablet, you can put, if the customer is a no-show, you can put it there, so we'll be able to know if a customer does call and complain, we know to go back to the, to route match and find out what happened. And the dispatchers also, under the comments, they're able to put there how many times we did call a customer.
okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Any questions or comments on staff reports and communication? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Motion by Ms. Centeno, second by Mr. Sanchez. Any comments, any questions? Everybody in favor? Looks like motion passes. Thank you, Mrs. Esparza.
Thank you.
Discussion with possible recommendations. Number one, extended the lift scheduling hours of operations.
This was mentioned at the last meeting, Mr. Avila, to extend the hours, the scheduling hours of operation. So right now, if you see the top portion of it, Mr. Geisler and Ms. Centeno and Mr. Castro, right now I think it's highlighted in gray. It's
Okay.
Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So the recommendations are to extend them from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we will have dispatchers available during those hours.
Up to 6 p.m.
Up
Thank
to
you.
6 p.m. is-
Because if I know it's over 5 and I can't do a thing after 5,
Yes, we
but
understand.
now you can.
Yes.
Starting at the point,
Effective, it can be, you just
Monday?
come up with a date.
Will be next pay
We just need
because
to
we have
announce
adjust
it.
schedules.
Yes.
With, this is more like a contractual obligation, every time we're gonna make a change from procedures, we need to give, 10 days notice to,
so I leave
it's
my,
not gonna change the outcome, but we need to give them a 10-day notice, so we'll go ahead and post that tomorrow. 10 days from that, so,
the 9th,
Nine.
by the 19th or the 20th,
by the 21st,
the 21st, because it's a Monday,
that would be perfect,
It'll be on Monday, on the
Effective Monday.
21st.
the 21st.
the 21st. And we'll go ahead and send probably a message or what the
That'd be good.
public,
That'd be good.
can send like a news release. Anybody who wants to send a quote that we can add into the news release, just feel free to email it to Ms. Aguilar, and we can insert that into the,
Because,
like,
yeah, I know, it
news release.
happens to me very often, if I know it's already 5:05, I call, I can't do a change or I can't do a thing because it's after 5.
Okay.
That will
That will alleviate that, right?
help.
Thank you very much. Number two, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, we don't need a motion on that because it was just a
It was just a
approval on the date.
proposal.
Okay. A Lyft rider appreciation, telephone reading.
We decided to send our customers, you know how they get their notification where it tells you in advance, 1 day prior, what time your appointment time is. So as an appreciation for our loyal customers, I attached this also on there. We're gonna be sending this message to all of our riders through the IVR system. And then it's just gonna say, Metro would like to thank you for being a loyal Lyft paratransit rider, and it'll also be in Spanish.
Also, I was going to tell you, last week, a week before last, I didn't get no calls in for the,
Last week,
I don't want to say if it was last week or a week before last. I wasn't getting calls, and I was not the only one.
We did have an issue, but that was fixed right within 2 days with Ramage. They did some type of update and I was in communication with
For
them.
about a week.
Yes, that was fixed because I got phone calls from 2 other customers as well.
Just want to make sure that you knew. Yeah, I know.
We took care of it, yes, I have.
I can tell you that, she's very good at that.
And
For personal reasons, I think she's very good at that.
Any questions or comments on that, on that board?
Nope.
Any other,
Move to adjourn.
any other comments?
No.
Nope. Can we have a motion to adjourn our
I so
meeting?
There
moved.
we go.
There you go.
There you go, Mr. Geisler. Motion by Mr. Geisler and second by Mrs. Centeno. All those in favor?
I'm gonna
All those
finish my
opposed?
question.
Negative? Motion carries. And
6:20 PM.
thank you very much. We are adjourned. Thank you for your presence. I appreciate it. We'll be looking forward with you all for the special call meeting, so please.
October 23rd at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
we will set the agenda also.
Unless you're ready.
1 week.
If not,
The agenda is just gonna be that one item.
Yes.
On that particular.
For,
Yes. For that special call, we're just gonna include the items specific to the,
To what we're gonna present to the council.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
That way.
yes, that'll be the only thing.
Yes, okay.
We will make it very hard to come here.
No, and we'll try
Hard
to,
to say no.
we'll try to run it, smoothly
as we
and
can.
as most effectively we can, so we won't have to be a long night either. We don't wanna stay here like city council did till 11:30.